How's that?
There he is. What's up? Let's give it a shot.
All right, Luca Nation. The third time is the charm. And all right. Woosah, right? Woosah. Because I'm excited. I have a good episode.
You have a good piece of paper? You have a good piece of paper?
I have a good episode prepared for Luca Nation. And,
all right, well, let's get to it.
So welcome back to another episode of Luca's Tigers and Bronzo Mine. Little Saturday edition. When we first started this episode, Cage was hiding out in his garage. And I soon to find out that's because his mom has come over for the day to spend Saturday with the grandkids. What's that interaction? You know, does she bring them Legos, Disney movies? Does she, play with them? Like, what's the vibe when your mom comes over for the day?
I have to fix her phone. I have to do some sort of legal documents at some point in time later. I have to fix her other phone, and I have to fix her iPad. Eventually, she'll acknowledge the fact that the children are in the house at some point in time. And after watching a half hour of television where she is on her phone that I just fixed, she'll leave. So, yes, she's here to really hang out with the grandkids, 100%.
When I go over to my grandpa's house, he always wants two things. He wants the icons and the font to be massive, just bigger. It's bigger every time. So like no matter how much bigger you make it, he always wants it bigger. And the key tone, when you click a button, he wants that to pierce his ears. He wants that to be super, super loud. Those are the two things he always wants me to do.
There you go. Yeah, that's that's about my afternoon. Should be some fun.
Well, and in that case, I'll tell you guys what I've been thinking about. And a quote comes to mind. And it's, you can't see the forest from the trees. So you might be thinking, Andrew, what do you mean by that? Well, I use this like a little transition period, and I try to do this typically. I love Saturday mornings for this purpose. I did a little bit of an inventory, Cage. Okay. How much is my collection worth?
Ooh.
How much of it is in cash? How much of it is it in like base cards and silver cards that are, very liquid? How much of my collection is e-liquid? I asked myself the question, if an amazing deal came up tomorrow, would I have the cash or the liquidity to make it happen? So I use these like, kind of quarterly Saturday mornings to do an inventory of my collection. Do you do something similar?
Sometimes. I mean, I try not to have too much stuff out there collection-wise, so that I kind of in my brain know what I have. But yeah, I mean, you always should be assessing what you have, especially with the prices changing basically every week. You got to also layer on, is something I have now a price that I think it's no longer something I want to hold, and then it becomes a sell and move it into something that's a bargain. So yeah, you're always doing it.
When it's in your brain though, like, do you feel that like if off the top of your head, do you know how much you have of liquid?
No, I think, it's definitely better to write it down.
It helped me because here's the thing. So like I'm on StarStock. I'm on Top Shot. I have cards in my possession. I have cards in my vault. I have cards out for grading. And, it causes me a lot of anxiety because I do think like, hey, I'm making money. I know I started last year with basically $500 to $1,000. And I know my collection's worth way more than that, but how much is it really worth? And today was a really cool exercise. What I found out was with my liquid assets, these are things that, are basically sitting in cash or easily transferable into cash. I'm sitting on $50K.
Wow.
Yeah. 35.
Hey,
35
Rockefeller.
Relax. 35 of that came from a Top Shot. 35 came from Top Shot. I have about 30K, and it's always hard to understand fully how much is at PSA because a lot of it depends on grading. But I'm sitting on 50K liquid. So that's exciting. That kind of put my mind at peace, because we're always chasing that next big thing. We're always like, man, I feel so behind compared to that guy. But when you write it down, when you actually take inventory, you see, 50K liquid and 30K in grading. I'm happy with that. If someone told me last year with the work I put in, I would have that and a ton of upside potential, that's exciting. And the second thing I do is my goals for the next 6 to 9 months. And specifically one goal I want to share with you guys is I want to go to 2 shows Okay, 2 shows this year. I think that's manageable. I don't know if
Definitely
you guys
manageable.
on the other end more or less, but it starts. I asked the question, what do I need to do to be prepared for the show? And I start thinking, okay, like you want to have liquid cash. You want to come to a show with cash, right? Ready to buy. But the second big thing, Cage, and we could talk about this, is trade bait, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And silvers and bases are not good trade bait, are they?
No, unless you have a lot of them. Unless you're stacking the hell out of them, you know what I mean. If you're walking with a PSA, brick of them, then sure. But yeah, and then who wants to be walking around lugging that stuff around? But yeah, I mean, only certain cards are going to be liquid, depending on what time of year it is, the whole deal. I love where this is going, because I mean, I went to a card show in Wayne, New Jersey, and left with cards that I didn't go there with, and more money in my pocket than I came, than I went there with. But it was because I brought cards that, I was looking to move. So I was able to get some wax for Ian. I was able to get some boxes, able to, get some cards, and basically use my current collection to roll over inventory. I like it.
You know what I realized talking to you a little bit though, Cage, is, and you said at the beginning of this episode, you're like, I always do that. I keep it in my head. But we forget something, Cage. You're seasoned. You're a vet. You're going into your 33rd year. You laugh, but like you have developed these sort of habits of trading up, of understanding the market, of understanding how to navigate a card show. You've probably done, how many trades have you done in your life?
Thousands. Definitely thousands. Yeah.
But we forget, Cage, on the other end of this audio is someone who's just starting out. They might have been in this hobby for a year, but they might have been in this hobby for 3 months.
Yep.
And breaking it down, when I've been going through this exercise, I think it's really going to help them. And I actually asked 2 final questions of myself. What's my last most profitable investment and why? And what's my last least profitable investment and why? And I'm going to actually tell you my least profitable one, okay? Because everyone shares the most and what I learned. And here's a lesson, I think. Do you want the lesson or the investment first?
I want the lesson first, because then we can try to do, you'll lose it if you get, oh yeah, we're all going to hear about the card. Give us the lesson you learned from it, and then tell us the investment.
Don't chase. Don't chase plays.
It's a good lesson.
Don't chase plays. Don't chase plays. It was the LeBron Topps Chrome. So because I was priced out of the LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 10, I went for a BGS 9.5 with a beautiful 10 centering. A lot of you guys that have been following us from last year remember this in pieces. So I was like, man, I was priced out of the 10. I'm going to get the BGS 9.5 with a beautiful 10 centering and cross it, right? I'm chasing. I missed the train. It's left the station. So I'm going for like the ugly cousin, hoping that, after not another teen movie, we're able to
your cousin, up. Right?
Not my cousin.
Okay, good. That would be weird.
You put a little makeup on and it'll be better. It did not cross. So that was one minus. And then you start thinking, right, because you're not invested in it for the right reasons. You're chasing this play. You want a PSA 10. You don't want a BGS 9.5. I don't believe in BGS in general. What do I do? Okay, it doesn't cross. I don't want to hold it. I don't trust BGS. I sell it. Okay, so I bought it the 9.5 originally from 8,800. I put 500 into grading fees. Doesn't cross. They kick it back. I'm like, I don't want to hold this card. I sell it. I get 8,500 back minus fees, so I lose $800-900 on this card. 2 weeks later, that card becomes a $15,000 card. Don't chase was my lesson.
But isn't the lesson also on it, like, I mean, how much were you in the card for?
8,800. I got 8K out.
I mean, couldn't the lesson also be,
I don't hodl.
All right. Well, you believed in it as a 10, but you didn't have the money to buy it as a 10. So you bought the next best thing. And while it didn't go up to what the 10 went up to, it still went up. Maybe you hold it, not holding up for dear life, but holding it just to give it time. Yeah, your investment, strategy didn't work out. Listen, hindsight is crazy on all these things, right? Because if it went down, I'd be over here saying the lesson is cut your losses. You didn't get the 10, you bought the 9.5, and it didn't cross. You should have just got out of it and take a small loss. So it's fun, man. A lot of experts in there. I'm going to be honest with everybody. We are all experts after the fact. right? While it's going on, who the heck knows? I mean, but it's easy to be that Monday morning quarterback, and say, oh, this is what I would have done.
Well, two things there. I'm a cut losses quick guy to the max. I love cutting losses, almost too much. So I did use that money, and I actually, that was around early December.
My next question: what was he going to? Where'd you put that $8,000 into?
I put it into Bitcoin. I put it into Bitcoin because I didn't have an investment, and it did well. I remember this exact time frame. This was around November, December. But it wasn't that the play was wrong. The play just didn't match the strategy. So I could have held, right? But I'm not a believer in BGS. So my strategy was never buying the card because it was underpriced, or that I believed in, the arbitrage between BGS and PSA. My strategy was to convert it to a PSA 10. So my strategy was off because I was chasing.
All right. That makes sense. But the cool part about it is you remember sort of what you put your money into, and you moved, even though you didn't hold it for $15,000 the next month, you moved it into something else. You cut your losses, and you probably made just as much, if not more, in the next investment. So, it's important to be liquid. It's important to, know what your goal is on that particular item, and then, move off of it when you don't meet that goal. So I like it.
Thank you. It leads right into my play. So
let's hear you play.
Who's my least favorite coach in the NFL?
Current coach?
Current. The other guy got fired.
Yeah, man. You were always
on the both got fired.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's difficult for me to come up with who your current. I mean,
two guys I hated last year.
You hated the
I don't
Texans.
hate anyone. I take that back.
I just really disliked the Texans coach. Was numero uno.
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. Oh man, who else was there? Was on your
Anthony Lynn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Chargers.
Now, so a few things. Herbert. Herbert was supposed to be the number one pick until he went into his, I think it was his junior season, and then Burrow overtook him. But going into the season before that, people were talking about Herbert like he was the number one pick. Then Burrow had that monster year, took over. Second thing is the way Anthony Lynn used Herbert was just a disgrace. He was a very run-heavy coach. I remember on the goal line with like time running down, they would run the ball. It was just a disgrace how he ran that offense. And now he's gone. Okay. And Herbert's going to step into a role where he's going to be chucking all over the field. His stats are going to be through the roof. And you're seeing his market. It's kind of crazy if you actually look at Herbert's market. It's pretty expensive because
it's very expensive.
His Prism PSA 10 is $900.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So I'm not giving you that play. But you know what play I'm going to give you guys? I'm going to say find Herbert.
Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn PSA 10s.
Yes, Anthony Lynn PSA 10. Anywhere you go. He's going to be the new Jets quarterback, which we could talk about today as well. It's going to be find trade bait. So I think you're going to be able to find some really interesting Herberts that are low pop. That might be a mosaic. They might be an optic. They're not. Don't go for the Prism base or the Prism silver because you're overpaying. I don't know how that market's going to act. But I think you could get some really neat low pop Herberts and bring them to the shows in the summer and use those as trade bait. I really, really believe that. And I think Herbert cards are going to be the talk of the town all summer long because it's back to buy the hype, sell the news. Okay. The shows that are going to be in July, June, July, August. I guarantee you Burrow and Herbert, but mostly Herbert are going to be the cards that people pick up. Kind of like Mbappe was last year. And my play today isn't a specific card. It's low pop Herbert cards that you can use as trade bait in the summer months as you go to the shows.
Love it.
A little different.
I do. Right? Yeah, it's a cool play. I can't see myself buying the Prism just because you're right. I mean, the pricing on it is crazy. I do expect it to come down a little bit as stuff comes back from PSA, although it's very difficult to get a 10 on this year. I mean, I opened some Prism stuff with Ian this past week, and first of all, we opened a mega box for like $200-something. So the second time, stuff wasn't damaged this time, but it was crap. The auto was another defensive idiot. And center every card, the centering. Like the best card we got was Chase Claypool base in a $275 box, which normally I would say send it in. Even if PSA didn't raise their rates, I'm not sending this card in because it was off center. So PSA. I mean, for the PSA 10s for this year, you might see actually some lower pops because the centering is real tough on it. Honestly, if I'm allowed to be the lemon that I am here, I just can't invest in the guy because his name's Herbert. Just sounds weird. I don't want to put my money in some Herbert. Just Herbert. Just
So let me give you guys an example.
Herbert.
About that. His Prism Silver right now is listed on eBay for about $699, $6,000, $7,000 for PSA.
A lot of money.
But the light blue SSP, which isn't actually numbered, is listed for $5,000. Okay. So what's better trade bait? I think a low pop like a tiger stripe, a white sparkle, which is what
purple wave like you, man. Purple wave.
Well, the light blue is not numbered, but I think that's a better buy. Like that's a much better buy than a silver. There's way more silvers out there.
Silver's all about trading up. People love the silver. Silver's liquidity. Everybody's gonna know what silver is because the silver's you're gonna have trades of. You're gonna go to a show, and the day you go to a show, there'll be 4 sales of a silver on eBay that morning. So everyone's gonna know what it's gonna sell for. No one's gonna get ripped off on it. It's pretty safe. That's what silver has become, like liquid.
So let's riff on this. Do you think going into a trade it's better going into a trade, is it better to have a card where you know the exact value, or is it better to have a card of a desired player in a high grade where there's a bit of a range?
Depends. It depends whether you're trading into or out of that card. Right? So if you're going to go to a show, I personally would rather have liquid cards. I know what they're worth. I know what the story is. I know what and then use that as cash. I might be looking to get back from somebody a card of someone that I want a PC that's a low pop that they don't know what it's worth, and maybe try to get it for a little bit less because they don't have an immediate comparison on eBay, 130 point, whatever it is. It works the other way too. If you have one of a guy, like let's use your Herbert blue, right? The difficult part is you look on eBay and that blue is selling for cheaper than the silver. So, any dealer or anybody in a show will notice that. But if it's a card that's so low pop that it's not on eBay, let's say you don't love Herbert, you have that blue one, you can try to get more for that, saying, look, there's 1 million silvers on here and there's no blue. So obviously this blue is worth more. You could try that. To me, if I'm using cards as like trade bait and stuff, it's better to know, really what they're going for. I think just because, you know what you can expect for it. If I bring a brick of 20 Tatis in and that morning Tatis is $300, I know the dealer is going to try to get it for 2 and change. I know if I walk around and show them off to enough dealers, people who are there looking to buy one are looking over my shoulder, and they'll track me down at some point during the show and say, did you get rid of all your Tatises? The cheapest guy in the show here wants 300. I'll give you 275.
But two things on that. A smart buyer will shop around because he knows that if you have T space, so do 15 other people, and he could shop around for the most desperate seller. The second thing is, this is a framework. Let's go back a few weeks to Sasha Tamadan's trade. I'm sure Sasha's a very, very savvy trader investor in this game. But there was something that he did that was nuanced within that trade. If you look, he has a Topps Chrome, which just meets a Cage's criteria. It's a very liquid card. You know the price of the card. Then he has a Topps Chrome variation where you sort of know the price of the card, right? The Refractor BGS9, but you don't exactly know what that's worth. Next, he had cash. You know what cash is worth.
Yep.
And then he had this cherry on top, this desirable card. This card where, how do you price a Kobe Exquisite in a low grade? You can't. It could be 50, it could be 60, it could be 100, it could be 125. It's tough to price that card. He threw them all in a bundle and he said, I can offer you this for this amazing masterpiece, right? And I think a combination of that is very valuable as you head into the trade season. And I'm saying make your own choice for which card to buy. But I will tell you that Herbert will be the talk of the town June, July, and August heading into NFL season. Right now, he's the talk of the town, and we're 4 or 5 months away. We've never seen the hobby like this, Cage.
Yep.
In the off season, you have to buy. Who's Herbert? Herbert is like the 4th best quarterback in the NFL at best, right?
Fifth. Herbie the love bug. Herbie the love bug.
And his Prism PSA 10 is $1,000 card in a base. So
listen, Kyler Murray was expensive last year too. Just everybody be careful.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not suggesting to hold it into August. I'm just saying that Herbie will be the
Herbie.
Kyler Murray, maybe even better because his performance this year was significantly better than Kyler Murray's ever has.
Yep.
And,
I think Herbert's a real deal. I think your play is spot on. And if you're not a believer in him, you could buy him now and flip him right before the season. If you are a believer, you buy him now and and sell it in the season when he's chucking the ball all over the place. I like the play. I definitely do. Speaking of people out there listening, right? Talking about like people might be listening for their first time. It might be they've only been in the hobby for 3 months. There's all different strokes, all different folks, all different fun. I'm a lemon this week. I'm going to give Double Coverage a little shout out on this because I like the way they did it. Now I'm going to tell you, I got to ask you a question. How does it make you feel? There is a podcast that I would call an up-and-comer in the hobby. A few hundred, less than 1,000 followers. That was us. Less than a year ago. I mean, we've been doing this for less than a year, and that was us. We were trying to make our way, and I remember, somebody commented, somebody listened to us, somebody, with a bigger following than us, noticed us, and we put it in the story, and we'd be excited, and it would be, a weekend day, and we're like, oh man, look, this guy put it in the story, helped us get a guest and the whole deal. Listen, how it happens is great. I take my shots at people and people take their shots at me. So that's always, part of the deal. In the end, we all get along. We're all in this together, this hobby fun. It seems to me though, that when I take shots at LeBron, those shots really hit home. So I remember the feeling where somebody noticed us, and thanks, we're well over 5,000 followers now, and that continues. Keep telling your friends and your neighbors, folks. Please don't stop that. We want to keep growing. But it's nice when, when someone bigger than us notices us and reaches out to us and, says we're doing a good job. You know what we love? I loved waking up this morning and, I woke up early. It's like 7:30 this morning. Couldn't sleep. I check out my Instagram because I'm bored. And I see someone in Australia woke up earlier than me, obviously, because, time zones and whatnot. I see this little video and I get this Lemon of the Week award. Hey, now, look, I'm not telling you the way to get my attention is to shit on me all the time. You can give me some compliments too. That would be nice. But these guys didn't like my take on LeBron. They didn't like, episode 257. They were giving me a hard time about it. Allegedly, what we were told was they listened to us in their podcast rotation and, it's an hour commute to work and, as long as they don't drive off the road, which I almost made them do, which is great. That's the kind of feedback I like. But they did it in a very respectful way. Said they were parts of Luca Nation. They've been listening to us for a while. Even said how much they love me, which is great because what's there not to love, right? And then I got a little roasted because of my take on LeBron not being a GOAT. Now, just a quick clarification.
Some other things that you've said.
I've said a lot of stuff. You're gonna hold me to everything, but LeBron is not the GOAT. He is a great player, but he's not the GOAT. Now, I get it. Some people didn't like that. I said other people carried him and the whole deal. It's fine. We're not going to rehash it. If you want to, go check out that episode where I obviously got some folks' panties in a bunch. It's great. But the point that I'm making here is I like how Double Coverage did this, and I will accept your reward and reach out to us because maybe we'll have you on. Maybe we'll have you on the show. Maybe we'll do some sort of collaboration because this is the way this stuff works. We spoke recently to Zane, right? Your friend from your Gary V days, right? And how did he get his job with Gary? Do you remember? You want to tell that story?
Well, how did he get the job specifically? He was interning for a year with Gary, and then he went to one of Gary's conferences, stood in line for an hour to ask a question, and when he had a chance to ask the question, he said, "Hey Gary, how can I come work for you?" After he delivered value up front for a year.
Yep. So you got a little value delivery, and then Gary's like, come work with me. It's a cool video. We've seen it, So listen, guys, you got noticed. The king here, the lemon, has noticed you, And listen, I'm big in Australia, and there's Foster's, there's Shrimp on a Barbie, there's Crocodile Dundee's knife, and there's Cage Lawyer. Cherry Collectibles is like a close. They're right up there also. We like Cherry, but in Australia, I'm like top 5, man. I am.
What about the Australian Open? Big deal or no?
No. I'm bigger than them. Kangaroos, I'm bigger than them. Koalas, eucalyptus. It tastes like shit. I am bigger than all those things. I'm basically like
eucalyptus. It's supposed to be cleansing.
I'm as big as like boomerangs, bro. Listen, I'm like, you know where I measure in Australian lore? I'm like a blooming onion. That's what I am. That's how big I am in Australia, right? So, and no bullshit, guys. We got a lot of Australian listeners, so I'm really not trying to piss you off. Double coverage, come on, reach out to us. It was really well done. Guys, it's just one example. We love our Luca Nation family. And if you're out there listening and you want to contribute, you got questions. I've done Zoom calls with people for their birthday, free. This is what we do. You got questions, ask. We'll get to it. It may not be that day, it might be 2 days into it, but ask. You want to collaborate with us? Reach out, man. What's the worst that happens? We say no. I don't think we've done that yet, to be honest. Gingy Man, I think, reached out to me in the UK, and I owe you a response, Gingy Man, if you're listening to this. My apologies, but we'll reach out to you. But guys, seriously, we're looking to continue to grow. We're doing our stuff, and I have a play. You have any comment, by the way? Do you have any comment to all that diarrhea I just dropped there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
So, when I played soccer, you go through winning streaks, you go through losing streaks. When losing streaks feel so much longer than winning streaks. And I think collectively, the hobby felt that the last month, after we reached some highs, was a bit of a losing streak. And there was, I want to say panic, but there was some jitters. There was always this one player, and on different teams it was a different guy, but it was a role that he filled. He would always come into the locker room and, when everyone's down, it's quiet, it's a little eerie. He would just start poking buttons, pushing some buttons. Making people laugh, cracking jokes at people, not at their expense, but to kind of just have a little bit of fun. And that's what you remind me of, because I get to see you off camera. I get to see you with your kids and your family. Dude, you're one of the kindest, most generous people I know. And at the same time, your comments, if people don't know them, they're like, everyone takes them differently. But the whole purpose of them is to snap people out of this feeling of, hey, we're losing, prices are going down. The Jordan is almost half the price of where it was at its high. Is this a bubble? Are people pumping? All of this negativity. And instead it's like, let's have some fun. Let's poke each other's buttons. Let's say some polarizing stuff and let's just see what happens.
Having fun is wildly undervalued.
Max Crawford is the guy who did that for our Drexel team. He was the funniest freaking kid I've ever experienced. And it was important. It lightened the mood, right?
Right. That's right. Listen, guys, there's money made in this hobby. It might not be as easy as next year, but let's just make sure we're all still having fun with it. And listen, it's a good time. We make amends. Anybody who I've upset in the last week, it was not my intention, man. We're all having some talk. We're all just having some fun with this, give it back.
And Josh, if you're listening from Cardboard Chronicles, you're one of the smartest guys in the hobby, but you are sleepy.
That guy. He puts me to sleep. I'm sorry. I love Josh. Josh is one of the smartest guys we know, but he puts me to sleep. I'm sorry, he does.
Bashful or grumpy, depending on the day.
Well, can I give a play today? How about that? Because I'll give double coverage some extra double coverage here because that was fun. That was some good stuff this morning. But
shout, the meme, whatever you're doing, whatever tea you're drinking or you're sipping, or if this is all natural, your content has just been on point the last week.
Lameme James. If you don't follow him, first of all, there's something wrong with you because that is a must follow for the hobby. But yes, please follow that guy. Lameme James, funny stuff, man, funny stuff. And we haven't done this in a while, but guys, if you're not following our team here, what makes Luca Nation go? We all have the little tiger stripes. Luca Nation, Gavin, that's the producer behind the scenes, putting all our stuff out there, taking care of our YouTube channel, our webpage, putting out his own content while he's holding it down in Florida. And of course, Luca Nation Conrad putting out some great basketball content around the trade deadline. So take a look at his page as well.
And these guys are two-sport athletes. They're still in college and school and performing on the side here. So wait till they're fully in the professional leagues. I'm actually going to pause you. I'm going to have a little fun before you give your play. I know this is my pressure. The Suez Canal is blocked by this big-ass ship.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been in mainstream news. I think it will be in the next few weeks. I don't think people are realizing how big of a deal this is.
I mean, prices are going to go up for basically everything.
Yes. like to insane points. Like trade was already kind of we sometimes don't realize how difficult, like, how do your items show up on the shelves in stores? How do Prism boxes just appear at Walmart? We're like, they're never there. This guy bought them all off the shelves. Well, how do they get to the shelves? Big ass containers that move across the countries, that move across worlds, across oceans. That they say is going to take a few days to a few weeks to clean up. I'm going to go on the longer side. And I think supplies are actually going to start going up, like top loaders, card savers, penny sleeves. But I wanted to hear your take because global trade is going to be impacted. I think oil is going to go up. But do you have any take on that? Is it too early to say? Is it a big deal? Where do you?
No, I mean, listen, I would say any other year it would be a bigger deal. You see some price increases, but after a year ago where we had COVID, where basically everything shut down anyway, we're kind of used to it, and if stuff dies or trade dies down for a week or two, and prices go up temporarily because of it, we can weather that. If it lasts much longer than it already has lasted, it could have some real significant pricing increases and some impact, 100%.
It's going to be interesting to shape out. It's one of those things. Monitor the situation. What am I going to say that's going to give you anything prophetic? If I were you, I'd be monitoring the situation closely. But the economic impact, companies are losing millions in hundreds of $1,000,000 daily because of this issue.
Hey, if I were to ask you a question,
you would probably go on a long rant instead.
Mike Trout, US 175, his update, his Topps rookie card. If I were to give you a guess of how many PSA 10s there are out there, what would you say?
I think Mike Trout's going to go down as the most overrated baseball player of all time.
Ooh, all right. Well, you're not going to like my play then. So how many do you think?
That doesn't mean you can't make money on him. That's two different things. I think when his career's all said and done, we're going to look back and be like, he had some really good numbers, but like this guy never did anything.
Dude, you didn't answer my question. How many?
How many of his Topps rookie update?
Yeah, the 2011 Topps rookie update card. How many do you think there are on PSA 10?
1,300.
Okay, that would be a good guess. Instead, there are 5,255 in PSA 10.
Wow.
5,255 of them. Now, let me take a look really quick just at our the most recent pricing on it, because I want to give folks like, an accurate price of where it's at and the like. It's thousands of dollars, obviously, and it's his rookie, so we all know that that card is going to carry some premium and the whole deal. But yeah, looks like one sold within the last hour here on March 20. Yep, $4,800. $4,800 actual sale. Here's a 4650, 4,800. Lots of fun, right? So let's see what raw ones have sold for. Oh wow,
There won't be any raw ones that are worth grading out there.
$1,000. Yeah, I mean, pretty crazy, right? But I like the raw ones because look, once the price goes up a little bit, on those PSA 10s, it's cool to have a raw one. Decent raw, $1,000, whatever it is. So here's the fun, guys. We have a website. A lot of people don't know this, and there's some cool stuff on there. There's blogs. There's all kinds of specials, all kinds of fun stuff. You can sign up. You get a newsletter from us. One of the blogs I wrote, one of the things we've talked about all the time here is paper versus chrome. And this Mike Trout update that I just mentioned, the 2011 Topps update, is probably the reason that people were, I know myself included when I say people, were talking about flagship or update or Topps paper over chrome for the last decade as the one to go to. Tougher to grade, you name it. For me, it was a continuity of a collection because I've had the Trout, right? I've had that Trout 2011 Topps update in paper, right? And then I went and I bought a Mookie Betts and I bought the paper. And I went and I bought a Christian Yelich and I bought the paper. And I bought Tatis and I bought the paper. Well, we've talked about this with all the basketball buyers coming into the market. Chrome is the king, right? Prism, chrome. Chrome's the king, especially with no prism in baseball. For the last year or so, the chrome cards have far outweighed the paper cards. So I started thinking to myself, I made the wrong choice on Betts, because if I would have bought the Betts Chrome, it would be significantly more than the paper Chrome that I bought. I made the wrong choice on Yelich. If I bought the Chrome, I would have been better off. Hell, I even made the wrong choice on Tatis. So I bought the Chrome versions, they'd be more money. Soto, Acuna, all these recent guys. But I couldn't make the wrong choice on Trout because in 2011 update, they only had paper. They didn't have a Chrome 2011 update version of Trout. But you know what they do have? They have a 2012. Right, 2012 card that, it's not his first Topps card, but they do have a 2012 Topps Chrome of Mike Trout. And people consider it a rookie card. They list it as a rookie card. His 2013 has the rookie cup on it, the gold cup. So that's usually a player's second card. So 2012, we all know the 2012 Prism card carries some weight, even though it's a non-licensed card. So it's 2012 Topps Chrome, Mike Trout, card number 144. And you ready for this? So I gave you the numbers. Hopefully you didn't look it up and cheat. But the 2011 Topps update has 5,255 graded PSA 10. You want to take a guess on how many there are of this card number 144, Topps Chrome 2012? Remember, 5,255 of the update.
233.
218 total. 218 total 2012 Topps Chrome Mike Trout PSA 10s. Card number 144. So, another thing. People aren't looking for this. And yeah, there's refractive versions, there's gold versions, there's all kinds of versions. You can definitely get this 2012 Chrome cheaper on eBay right now, significantly cheaper if you wanted to buy it now than his update. Now, I don't know if I tell you to do that. I maybe buy two of them. Maybe buy it as an alternative, buy it as an addition to your collection. But you can get it for probably half the price of what the update goes for. It's not as rookie. I probably would rather have the update. It's not the same as comparing someone's Topps paper and Topps Chrome to have the same year. But Trout, you may think he's overrated. I personally don't. I think he's fantastic. But he's one of those guys that goes down as, one of the better players of his generation. And this 2012 card is pretty rare. But here's my play on it. I think part of the reason it's rare is because people haven't graded it. It's his first Topps Chrome card, which means something today, right? For whatever reason, it means something. The last three sales of ones in good shape. There are ones you check the description, people say, oh, this is near mint, whatever it is. Take a look at the pictures. The last three sales of this card in raw, 53, 53, and a lot of 3 for $100, right? People are not looking at these cards. People are not looking to grade them. I have not bought any of these yet, guys. This is one of those cage plays where I came up with it this morning and I'm like, do I hoard these? Do I just go on eBay and buy every one of these that I can find right now? And I said, no. I said, you know what? I don't want to be the lemon 2 weeks in a row. I want to be the cage degenerates. I want to be the guy who's sharing this stuff with Luca Nation. I have not bought a single one of these, I promise you. And it's because I want to share this with you guys. I don't want to buy every one that's up on eBay, but if they stay in the $53 range, 3 for $100, I don't even care. If they go up to $100 raw, I'm buying them. I don't buy these cards. $150, $200. I don't even care. I'm going to be buying these cards, so you should buy them yourself. To me, it's a no-brainer, and this is the perfect wheelhouse now for the new grading world, right? I'm going to send these in. This is the value of a card. This is the type of card that makes sense to send to the PSA. It's no longer a $5 card, a $10 card, a $20 card. You try to turn it into $100. It's a card you could buy for $50 to $100, $150. And if you get lucky and it's a 9, you're making money. If it's a 10, we're going Sizzler. We're going Sizzler, right? I mean, come on now. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string. So, guys, this is one I'm going to tell you. I like your play because it gets people thinking, right? It gets people thinking. It's not Herbert's Prism. There are other Herberts, whether it's a Mosaic, you name it. You know that guy, he's going to do some stuff, right? Buy your Herbert cards. To me, this is the same type of play. Because what I want you guys thinking is, okay, you can go on eBay and go buy some Trouts right now. That's fine. But what went into it? It's paper versus Chrome. It's thinking about the collecting habits of people who are going to be spending money. It's baseball, which hasn't exploded yet. It's Trout, who is one of the names, one of the things that people collect. It's a lower pop card. It's a card that has not exploded in value yet. These are the kind of things that we should all be starting to look at and look for in 2021, as it's a little harder to make some money in the hobby. This one, to me, it makes sense. What do you think?
I was shaking my head during your conversation.
My monologue.
With you, I'm a lemon. So I haven't sports bet in a while, and I was like, it's NCAA tournament. Why not, have a little fun with Bitcoin sports betting? Well, I tried to enter in $160 in terms of like a bet on the Oregon State, but I entered it in for 16 cents. So that's what I'm shaking my head at.
So you're gonna win a quarter?
I will win a quarter on my wager.
That's good. Way to go. It's this is why crypto is better than real dollars, everybody.
Dude, it's really nice because you could withdraw and deposit like instantly, but it's so confusing. You never know how much you're betting. And then they convert it into this thing called micro BTC, which is even more confusing. So it's like
16 cents. Gotta love it.
I'm on a winning streak.
You're winning though. Oregon State, big win.
So that's what I'll shake my head on. No, but I like the play. Mike Trout is interesting to me because in a hobby that loves winning, for some reason we discount him winning.
So it's weird, right? In baseball, there are players that are players of a generation, players of a team that never won, but are still held in a high regard in baseball. Right. Ted Williams never won. Ken Griffey Jr. never won. There are players that never won. Don Mattingly never won. In Yankee lore, he's a huge name, right? Was Don
Mattingly on the Yankees before the Yankees just started winning? Like
he
basically just ripping off titles.
Yes, he played 84 to, believe it or not, I think 95 was his last season. Like they literally got great right after he ripped off titles. But you want to know another fun one? Mike Messina. Mike Messina came in 01 and left in 08. The Yankees won in 2000 and won in 09. So he literally came the year after they won, and they won the year after he left. So
how do you Messina. Like, how do you go to sleep at night and be like, man, is there something wrong with me? Like, was it me?
Yeah, that guy finished with, he was that's a Hall of Famer there, Messina. He never won 20 games until his last season. He went out with his best personal season. 20 wins was his last season. Then he retired after a 21 season. It's pretty nice. Anyway, we're getting off on a little tangent here, and the episode's long enough. But guys, we appreciate every single one of you. Reach out to us. We are checking, we are listening, and we love each and every one of you. We love all the contributions you have, and we want to keep growing Luca Nation. So thank you guys.